speculation surrounding Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler has reportedly turned down a 4-year extension with Minnesota worth about $110 million.
Butler asked for a trade during a meeting with team president/head coach Tom Thibodeau.
This don't got too much to do with basketball. It's bigger than that. It made sense on paper. It didn't work. Now it's time to move on. Just got to find a willing participant from another team.
It's a big day for our franchise as we welcome Jimmy Butler and Justin Patton to Philadelphia.
I want to do whatever it is that my team asks for me to do to help us win as many games as possible.
Tremendous trade. Gives Philadelphia a third superstar, which they need.
I believe he's a great player. He works hard. He's somebody that you want on your team.
Bringing in Jimmy Butler, I think they have a chance to make that next jump up there.
Butler heaves and hits with 4/10 of a second remaining. Jimmy Butler delivers for his new squad.
I think that I'm an incredible human being, teammate, and I'll show that to the guys that are here.
That's Jimmy Butler, looking fresh and a fresh coat walking in. It's cold out there, I'm sure. I played in Philly. I know how that weather can be. And a couple of guys know how the weather, well.
His knees are cold, I know.
Yeah, I was going to say, he wearing Daisy Duke jeans out there. No, but Cat, he's been going to work. You know what he's done. And welcome to Players Only. I'm Chris Webber. Now, tonight, Zeke went back to his original position. That's the point guard. He's over in Studio J. He'll be hanging out and joining us a little bit later. So instead, we're subbing in former Laker and newly named head coach of the WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks, Derek Fisher. Welcome to the show. And when it comes to the game, this man, you know he has it in all areas. He was Sixth Man of the Year. He's won multiple championships with his beloved Celtics. He also has the eye. He drafted a future Hall of Famer by the name of Kevin Garnett. You may have heard of him, and he's a HOFer himself. I like how that sounds. You thought I was going to say something else. He's an HOFer himself.
I've had people call me that before.
And that's the slippery hill, Kevin McHale. Now, we got 6 games across the NBA tonight on tap, and in the first game of our doubleheader, we got a good one. We have Joel Embiid and his Sixers. They're welcoming his teammate Jimmy Butler's old running mates. That's right. Cat Towns, Andrew Wiggins, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Guys, let's get right to it, Kevin McHale. You've been an executive, been a player. So much was made of Jimmy Butler. We know he's a great talent, a great leader, but so much was made of his presence in the locker room, of his play. What do you think about the trade so far, and do you think this is the right move going ahead for the Sixers?
Yeah, it helped both teams. I mean, the Wolves are 17 and 14 since they traded Jimmy, above 500. And Philadelphia's 20 and 11 since the trade. But Jimmy's been hurt for some of that time. I don't like to hear the noise coming out of Jimmy again, just about the offense and stuff like that. At some point, you just got to go someplace and fit in. This is Joel Embiid's team. So I just want to state that off right away. Like, if I was coaching, I'd say, okay, everybody stand right here. Get real close, You see this guy right here? Yeah, this Joel Embiid. He's going to be our first option. He's going to be our second option. And then we're going to look for some other stuff. So I think sometimes you just got to fit into that. I don't know. Jimmy seems like he's looking for a home. You can see his three-point shooting has been going down. And, hey, man, when you're shooting 28% from the three-point line, maybe you're just crabby. But he's just got to start chilling this thing down a little bit. And just at some point, you got to go in and fit in with the team. And it's not always about you, man. It's about team first. And, Fish won championships and played on all those teams. And, you have a big role, but yet you don't always have to be the man. They're going to be one of them. Yeah. And like I said, if you can't identify who that is, that's when teams have problems. To me, it's Joel Embiid on Philly.
And Fish, you've been in those locker rooms maybe where you've had to be that referee between great players and encourage guys, hit big shots, all the things that you've done. But hearing a guy like this, what's your feeling about the trade going forward and his personality in the locker room?
Yeah, I think in the short term it has worked for both teams, like Kevin said. I think Minnesota has gotten better since he's been gone, and I think that Philly's been able to win games even though he's been injured. I think the long-term question is in Philly, whether or not this really worked, because he could be gone or he could become a guy that causes problems as he continues to speak out and say things publicly that just doesn't sit well with his teammates. And I think that's the big question. Kevin is right about Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
The Sixers, that's the foundation of any future they plan to have.
Right.
So they have to make sure he's happy. And anybody that comes to join that team, whether trade or signing in free agency, has to understand that. I think Jimmy understands it, but he's just figuring out how to maybe deal with the Philadelphia media and just that national spotlight that comes with the expectations.
Good point. And Kev, when you look at the other side, I mean, we look at Minnesota, and I'm a guy that I love the stats, even some of the minutia that goes on, and people make it up there different ways. But I'm also a guy that loves watching body language and energy. And it is no secret that Cat Towns and Wiggins seem to play harder, seem to enjoy, have more fun with their new coach. Saunders seems to be enjoying it, 2-1 since he's joined the team. What about the reverse effect? We said it helped both teams, and two of my favorite players in this league were Sark and Covington.
Yeah.
And so how do you think they fit into this along with the play of Cat and Wiggins?
I think Covington's really found his home in Minnesota. He fit in really good because, especially with Thibodeau, Tibbs was a defensive guy first, and Covington didn't turn the ball over a lot, shot the open three, and didn't make any mistakes. He was a perfect Thibodeau player, like shoot threes, play defense, and don't make any mistakes. Tibbs likes that. Under Ryan's offense is going to be a little more creative, Ryan Saunders. They're going to get more of a flow going. They're going to get more rush going and attacking. And what I've seen since the Tibbs has left, the team has more enthusiasm. There's no question. They're playing harder. Tonight, the big matchup I want to watch is Wiggins versus Butler. Because Butler comes to practice and HOFs everybody in practice, and he, and a lot of that was directed towards Wiggins and Towns.
Yeah.
You can't win without me.
Yeah.
You think you're winning with those two dudes?
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if I'm Wiggins, I'm loaded for bear.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, I'm coming out both barrels blazing. And it's just personal.
Yeah.
If I'm Wiggins. Now I think that the game will be decided who plays better between Towns and Embiid. But this little sideshow of Wiggins versus Butler, you've been there before.
Yeah, no, for sure. There are guys you look forward to matching up against. I think the questions about Wiggins, some of those will be answered tonight. There's questions about the toughness, the physical toughness. Is he willing to go head-to-head against a guy that has called him out, challenged him, and basically said he was soft? So we'll see tonight, how he handles that.
Let me ask you something. You being a coach in the league, right now, Ryan Saunders coming in, he's 2-1. He's younger than 42 players in the league, including 3 players on his own team. Now, in football, we've seen the success of Sean McVay. Other sports, we've seen it. And basically, guys are coaches in the locker room like yourself. Do you think that the age or his lack of experience will be a problem going forward when he has a team so motivated? Is it hard to coach a team motivated and be young, or would he have a different situation if it was a team he didn't grow with and that know him so well?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I don't think the age or the experience will necessarily limit him. That's why you have a coaching staff. So it's combining the experience, the wisdom of assistant coaches, player development coaches. If you have veterans and guys that are players that can also help kind of make sure that things are running a certain way. Ryan is cut from a coaching cloth. It's in his DNA, the way he carries himself, his demeanor. And I think most importantly, what has been clear to me in just 3 games is that there was a level of relationship and trust with the players that existed prior to him being the head coach. So now that he's the interim head coach, these guys already believe in him. They love him in a lot of ways, and so they're willing to play hard for him and buy into him, even though he only has 3 games of experience.
Is he the coach of the future, Kevin, if they make the playoffs? Because we expect them to make the playoffs. Last year, even though they made it by 1 game, a playoff game, I still felt it was a disappointing season for them. And I felt it was a disappointing season up until the point that the trade happened or he got the job, whichever one you want to juggle. Is that kind of the litmus test for him, playoffs, and maybe, because we know he'll get another chance in 5 or 10 years, but I mean for right now, do you think that that's the question from the execs and the team? No question. I think that this rest of the season is going to determine whether or not Ryan Saunders is the coach next year or not. And, I mean, that's a lot of pressure when you're a young guy, especially when you're 32. You're thinking, man, how many opportunities am I going to get? I got to make the most of this. But the thing that Ryan's got, though, is that he's
was with these guys, especially Towns and Wiggins, when they were rookies, and they're getting ridden hard by the coach, and he's in there at night saying, okay, let's get some extra shots up, and they developed that relationship where they really trust each other. Now, the toughest thing for being a young coach is you got to be firm with the guys too. It's nothing, I'm 100% coach with that. You got to be fair, but you got to be firm too. Right. If you're messing up, no matter how much I like you, I go fish. Yeah. You got to get back on defense. I said, you're getting blown by every damn time. Our defense can't withstand you getting beat at the point of attack every play. Yep. You got to be better, man.
And I think our players now, the love and the relationship that allows them to trust their coach then allows him to hold them more accountable. So they're willing to accept that from Ryan because he was there all those late nights, getting shots up, working out with you, keeping you positive when you weren't playing or when coach cussed you out last night. Yeah. So now when he's holding you accountable as your head coach, you know that's coming from the right place.
And Fish, you say that, and I think about my first coach, Bill Fish. If I was waiting for love before I could play well, I'd still be waiting. I'd be in the locker room, sitting in my locker like, I gotta tell you what, they were hard on you back then. But I'm with you. I just think it's different. You hit the nail on the head with the fact that he spent all those nights with those guys, when they're struggling as a rookie and stuff like that in there, so they feel bonded to him. Right. And I think they really will play for him. I just hope they win. They're bringing in Jerry Seasting, my old teammate with the Celtics, coach.
Definitely.
They're bringing him to help Ryan on the bench, and so I told the trainer, I said, the equipment manager, I said, well, load up the refrigerator with beer and then get ready for some fun times.
Exactly. Keep that
Jerry's
notepad
coming
ready.
back.
That's what's up. That sounds good. And when we come back, we'll have our man 3D. He's going to actually catch up with Coach Ryan Saunders. And these guys right here, Teague, he's not shooting that well, but he is from a percentage point. But he is running the team. 452 twist. That was the play they used to call all the time. Bet KG's at home. He just shook. He's like, that's my play.
Tonight on NBA TV, we got the Wolves and the 76ers, followed by the Bulls and Lakers. It's a players-only type of night. And joining us live from Philly to set up that first game, it's the Grill Daddy himself, Dennis Scott.
See those grill marks? 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 See those grill marks?
We see those grill marks. We see 3D. There he is in Philly, bobbing away. He loves his theme song. What's up, Dennis?
All's good, guys. What you got for me today? What you got for me?
Well, look, we're going to get into the game, but first things first, it's funny because we're talking Grill Daddy, and then we got some more food questions for you because we follow you on social media. And we saw today, it looked like you had a beautiful brunch. You see there on the left, the French toast. Stack them up. But you have this second photo. 3D.
I love you guys.
3D, you have this second photo. And we dug a little deeper, looked a little closer. This looks like eggs and mushroom and cheese. Did you have 2 breakfasts today?
So what I did, I had a side of eggs.
Oh, yeah.
And I put in there and mixed it all up together.
Oh, there you go. So a little French toast and some egg. Okay, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
I just love you guys.
Okay, look, 3D. Jimmy Butler facing his former team for the first time tonight when the Wolves play there in Philadelphia against the 76ers. You've been around these teams today. Is there any, lingering bad blood between Butler and his old Wolves?
Believe it or not, guys, not really. A shoot around this morning, all the media, they were too busy talking about Covington and Cyrus coming back to Philadelphia. Now with Ryan Saunders taking over, it's the new era. So not really a whole lot of Jimmy talk this morning. I was a little bit surprised, but then again, the team was like, we're moving on. It's a new era, and we're playing better basketball.
Yeah, both teams have been playing better basketball since the trade. I wanted to ask you personally, though. I mean, is it always a difficult game when you face your former team for the first time? Like, you played for the Magic for a long time, got traded right before the season. Then you were on the Mavs and you played them. Like, do you remember that game? Was it special? Were you nervous? Like, what's it like for a player in that situation?
You hit around the head, Skeets, for a long time. So when you first come into the NBA, you get drafted by a team and you're with that team, say 5, 6, 7, 8, DeAndre Jordan, 10 years. Then you have a little bit more emotional value is what I call it when you go back and play that team for the first time.
Right.
Where in Jimmy's case, he was only with the T-Wolves a year and a few months, so to speak. So it's not really a lot of bad blood. Only thing really bad, we knew about the situation between him and Tibbs and how that went. Other than that, not really bad blood.
With Philadelphia, every time they do lose a game, I feel like Twitter explodes with a bunch of fans saying, this doesn't work. This big three of Embiid and Simmons, and now Jimmy Butler, it won't work. We got to get rid of one of them. What's your take on that? Can these three guys play together, or is there's only the one ball and these three superstars and it won't work? What's your vibe with this?
Well, I believe it can work. I think with those three guys, as long as they continue to buy into the big picture, I think it can work. Brett Brown may need to tweak a few things. maybe put another shooter on the floor because so many people talk about Ben Simmons not being able to knock down shots. Well, when you get to the playoffs and the possession slow down, you need shot making on the floor. That's what the Sixers going to have to figure out. How do they get more shot makers to make things looser for those two big guys?
Absolutely. 3D, can't thank you enough. I'm glad we got to the bottom of your brunch this morning. We had 2 breakfasts there. Yeah, you're all full. You're good to go. Yeah, it looked delicious, man. That French toast looked delicious. Enjoy the game tonight, 3D.
Oh, it was good, guys. It was good.
Oh, really good. Excellent. I love it, man. When we come back, which younger team has been the bigger surprise this season? Is it those young Kings or the young Nets? We're going to debate that and more when we come back.